I've been using an oxygen acetylene setup with my Smith's Little Torch for years now, which has worked great for me, but the flame is extremely dirty, as you can see from all the soot coming off of it, and just for a better visual representation, I can pretty much paint this onto the metal on my bench. So definitely not great, and like I said, very messy. And it's not restricted to whatever the flame touches. This soot will get everywhere in your workspace, and just float around and land on things. So dedicated ventilation for this is kind of a must. The other problem I have with this setup comes down to the tanks. They do have to be refilled, and they always run out at the worst possible time. And to refill both of these costs about $60. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix these problems by switching over to propane, which is a much cleaner burning gas, and setting up an oxygen condenser so I never have to buy oxygen again. So let's go over all the parts that are needed to get this set up in a safe manner. The first item is going to be the Smith's Little Torch itself, which you can see is an official one and brand new. That being said, they are kind of pricey, and there are clones of this torch on the market, and they're much cheaper, but I have no idea how long they'll actually hold up for, along with how likely they might be to leak, which can be extremely dangerous. My original torch has lasted over 10 years with no problems, so just keep all that in mind when buying yours. The next part is a fuel regulator, and this is made to fit onto 1-pound propane tanks. When it comes to connecting up the oxygen side of things, I just need a couple brass fittings and a small length of hose. And I'll make sure to have everything labeled and linked in the description below so you can easily find all of this, along with some cheaper options for things as well. Like when it comes to this stand, you'll have a few different options. When it comes down to the safety side of things, I'm going to use some flashback arresters. They basically work as one-way valves, and if for some reason you get something called flashback, which is the flame going back up through your tube into your canister, this will stop it and it won't explode. And of course, different companies make these at different price points. Putting everything together requires tools. I'm using adjustable wrenches because everything is a different size. So let's start actually putting everything together, starting with the fuel regulator. And overall, this is a very small and simple regulator. No gauges or anything like that to worry about, just a big on and off valve on the top. The first thing I'm going to install in this is the flashback arrestor, and these are gas dependent, but they're also threaded differently, so you can't mix them up. You'll see that these fittings have little gashes on them. That means that they go together, and this particular one has reverse threads, which means that it screws on in the opposite direction that most things do. And I'm not going to fully tighten this down yet. I'm going to assemble some more stuff first, like all the fittings that are needed to put the oxygen side together, which is pretty straightforward and pretty much only goes together one way. And the flashback arrestor goes on this side and it threads on like normal. And you should have something like this, which is built up enough for now, and we're going to move over to the torch. Like I said earlier, this is a brand new little torch right out of the box. I didn't really need to get this, but I wanted to show the complete setup for anyone that's getting all the parts brand new. And speaking of the parts, this does come with a bunch of different torch ends, along with the entire torch all set up and ready to go pretty much. Each one of these torch tips are a different size, and they have a stamp of a number on them. The lower the number, the smaller the size. So here's the smallest one and the largest one side by side, so you can see how big of a difference there is. When it comes to storing the torch tips, the stand I got has storage built in, and everything is also numbered. You can also get other torch ends for this setup, just like this torch end that I use to melt down metals in a crucible and make new metal out of it. Storing it works exactly the same as all the other tips as well. Here's both of the torches side by side, so you can see how much wear and tear my 10-year-old one has versus a brand new one. And you can see on my old one that the colors are pretty faded and it's dirty, but like I said, it still works perfectly fine. You might have noticed that my older one has this metal piece on it when the newer one doesn't. This is actually a piece that comes with the magnetic stand that you have to attach to the torch. It's pretty easy to install onto a new torch. You just unscrew this black part and slide it down. Then all you need to do is slide this piece over the exposed pipes, put it up to the top, and position the flat part of it on the back. Once that's in place, the black sleeve can go back up and get screwed back down. And there we go, and now it works with the magnetic stand. With the torch part all set up, we can finally get back to the fittings and get everything tightened up and put together. And like I was saying before, adjustable wrenches are perfect for this, seeing that everything has a little bit of a different size to it. Just make sure you have one big enough to cover the biggest size. And try not to go too crazy when tightening these up. They are brass and they can strip out, but at the same time, you don't want them to be too loose because you'll have leaks. And with that all done, I can finally put this small bit of hose onto this. You can see that the fitting is kind of barbed and it takes a bit of force to put it on. Also, you're not getting it off without cutting it off. You're also going to need to tighten up everything on the fuel side of things and attach the torch to it. And just keep in mind that everything on this side is reverse threaded, so you'll be turning in the opposite direction than normal. And there we go, both of these are completely ready to go now. For this setup, I'm going to be using this style of 1-pound propane tank, and this particular one is actually disposable, and they cost about $6. But they do also sell refillable ones just like this for around $17, and a refill costs about $3. I also designed a 3D printable holder for this that you can mount pretty much anywhere, and it's definitely not needed in all setups, but it has double-sided tape on the back of it, and it fits the canister in it nice and snug. My condenser actually has an area for tanks to be mounted, and it does a pretty good job of actually holding this in place, but I don't like how high up it is. So I'm just going to stick my mount on the side of this, and the tape that I'm using to keep this on is more than strong enough to hold this. And now I can finally plug in the oxygen side of this to the machine. And when it comes to the fuel regulator, it just screws on to the top of the propane tank. When it comes to the actual torch tip I'm going to be using, most of the time it's going to be a size 6. And these pretty much just thread onto the end of the actual torch, and you can tighten them down using one of the adjustable wrenches. Just don't over tighten these, make sure they're snug enough to not move. When it comes to turning on this setup, it's pretty straightforward. The fuel side of it, you just kind of turn the knob on top until it's on. There's no pressure that you're trying to hit with this, it just has one setting. When it comes to the oxygen side of things, these machines can be kind of finicky when there's back pressure, and if yours does that, you can always just turn on the oxygen side of your torch before turning the machine on. Mine doesn't have that problem whatsoever, but I've heard of other people having problems with theirs beeping at them until it gets a flow going. And even though the machine is running and my torch is open, there's nothing coming out of it. That's because the machine has a flow rate that's turned all the way down, and turning this up to the maximum will be sufficient for using our torch. And you'll notice at a certain point, no matter how much I turn this, it kind of just stops. It also fluctuates depending on how much you open and close the valve on your torch. But honestly, that doesn't really matter that much. We need a consistent flow. And so you can visualize this. I put it up against some water and you can see that it is a constant flow. There are a few options when it comes to lighting the torch. You can use an electric hands-free one like this one, or a torch striker. Basically just something that makes a spark to ignite the propane. When starting up your torch, make sure everything is turned off and just barely turn the fuel side on. And then pretty quickly after turning that on, spark your torch and it should ignite. And from here, you can safely adjust your flame. You don't want the flame to be too small, but you also don't want it to be too intense to the point that you have a large gap between the tip of the torch and the actual flame itself. From here, you can start slowly turning on the oxygen side of things. But if you turn it on too quickly like this, it will shut off the flame completely. So when that happens, turn off your oxygen and start up your flame again. This time I'm going to turn my flame down a bit and then slowly add oxygen and work up my flame some more. This is a delicate balancing act between the two different gases and will take a little bit of practice to get right. But after doing it a few times, it'll become second nature. And the goal is to get it down to this nice little sharp blue flame. And not to mention, once you get it to this point, you have over a 5,000 degree Fahrenheit flame in your hand. So be careful and let me show you how to turn it off safely before moving on. First, turn off your oxygen completely, and then turn off the propane. And there you go, the torch is safely turned off. Just be careful, the tip of this will be hot, so put it back on your stand if you're going to put it down. When it comes to actually using this setup versus what I was using, it seems to work exactly the same. You can see that I can melt down a piece of copper really quick, along with annealing this larger one, and just melting it down if I wanted to. And I made sure to show both of these in real time, so nothing right here is sped up. I am still going to need to use this more to make sure that everything's going to work how I need it to. You'll definitely see me using this in upcoming videos. In the long run, this is going to save me a lot of money and headache, but the initial setup, if you have none of these items already, is going to cost you quite a bit. And like I said previously in the video, I tried to find different options for getting this set up on a cheaper budget, and all of that can be found in the description of this video or first pinned comment. I'm also going to have the propane container holder / mount on my website for sale. You can buy the STL file to 3D print it yourself, or I'll actually sell fully done 3D prints as well. Well, I hope you found this video to be helpful, and let me know in the comments if this is something you would actually get set up, or you're just going to stick with whatever you're already using. If you haven't already seen them, check out one of my videos I have on the screen now, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!